Okay, yeah, raised hand. I can see many of you. Okay, good. So let me also start my video so that you all can see me. Hi, yes, I'm in the office. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to continue, and probably I will think basically there's going to be two parts to this session. The first part will be by myself. Probably I will take less than an hour. And good evening to everyone. We have got now 343 participants. And as the numbers are increasing, but nevertheless, as I said, I will just straight away deep dive into my presentation in all fairness for those people who have came much earlier. We do not want to hold you. And if there's any technical error halfway through, I will ask for my Senior Vice President Eddie is also in the office. Yup. So, okay, Eddie, don't worry. I can just continue here. You can get your job. Anything, I'll just buzz you. Yep. This disclaimer is something I just need to highlight very simply because I will be going at a relatively fast pace, I must say, because of time. But nevertheless, I also want to assure you at any moment, if you are not so sure, you can always put in the chat. There are a few admin and they will be able to answer some of the questions, or the salesperson who have invited you. You can always speak to any of a PropNext salesperson, or for that matter, you need some parts of the slides to speak to a PropNext salesperson. They would be able to get you certain things. I'm quite sure some of you will be just snapping some of those screenshots. I'm perfectly okay with that, okay? Moving on, I think some of the considerations amidst the current headwinds, what are some of the challenges right now? And these are some of the things that I'm going to talk about in the next couple of minutes. Is going to give you a very brief update to the current market and why freehold. Does that make any huge difference between a 99 and a freehold, or a 999? And what are the capital appreciation potential of a freehold versus 99, and the value proposition of a RCR, rest of course central region property, and as well as how is the outlook of the market? Because these are some of the very important informations any one of you need to consider before you plunge into the real estate market. One of the good things here is this: if you realize, some of you would have read the papers the last couple of days, especially over the weekend, and Tembusu was launched, and the developer sold 330 over units, more than 50% within 10 hours. It is a 99-year leasehold property. And why was there so much of an interest when the per square foot was average $2,450 over dollars? Is a new benchmark in District 15. Okay. Nevertheless, let's move on. Let me give you one of these things. I think here, one of the key things that I'm trying to highlight, and I suppose most of you can focus into these particular slides. And I'm quite sure for some of you who are for the first time looking at these slides, I just want to highlight one of the key points here that is very important. Yep. This is a price index over a period of the last well over what? We are looking at 1997, okay? At the start of it is 1997, all the way to 2023, the first quarter. It's a long period of time. When you look at this busy slide, I want to compartmentalize into two gaps, okay? And I'm going to shade it here. And the main thing I'm going to shade it here is here. You can see where I'm drawing all the so-called river, or you can say a hurdle. Why? I want you to see the whole thing as this is one period of time versus this is another period of time. What is it so glaring to you when you look at it? Over at the left-hand side, over at this side, you can see huge number of down by 40%, minus 20%, minus 24%, almost 25%. These are the Asian financial crisis, the first one. And then we have got the SARS, which was similar to the pandemic of the COVID that happened in the beginning of the 2000. And then we have the global financial crisis. Some of you would have remembered this as the Lehman crisis, and where the property prices dropped 25% in 4 quarters. That means within 1 year, you saw the properties drop 25%. Can you imagine if you're holding on to a property that is worth $2 million in 1 year, it become $1.5 million. That's what actually happened during the previous crisis. But then, why did I actually do this portion to segregate the real estate cycle in Singapore? Because it is important. Anyone who gives you an advice based on their previous experiences, like for example, they say, oh, property prices will always go up over time because it was plus 40%, plus 60%, and people buy low and sell high. And sometimes when it crashed, it hugely crashed. All these things actually we have witnessed because there were many speculators in the market. Okay, before 2013, speculators. And why did the property prices actually went down so sharply down and then up and then down so sharply? Is because you must understand demand and supply. And what do I mean by that? Because during this period, the word speculation, okay, and what I meant here is this: people were able to buy properties with just paying a 5% deposit, and they don't even have the capacity to secure 80% loan. They can still buy an option. And then they flip it in the market after 6 months, 3 months, to another buyer who's interested, so that they can profit out of it, 50,000, 100,000, and then they move on. So it was really like a little bit of a punting in the real estate. And that was what of the older time. And that's why the market really move up. And then why it come down, every time there's a crisis, a lot of the speculators get a knee-jerk worry because they don't have the ability to finance the balance 80% or 95%. So what they do, they start to dump the properties. So suddenly there's a surge of supply. Because there's a crisis, the buyers are not coming in, the prices drop 25% just within 1 year. But then I want to just bring to your awareness here. Look at this period. So this is the major cooling measures. If you remember in 2013, the government introduced huge number of cooling measures. I'm quite sure you would have been familiar with TDSR, Total Debt Servicing Ratio, ABSD, Additional Buyer Stamp Duty, Seller Stamp Duty. So what does this mean? Therefore, any buyer who enter the market after the cooling measures period, the buyers were subjected to a kind of a regime that they can't do speculations. Because why you can't do speculation? If you buy a second property, you are hit with the additional buyer stamp duty. When you sell a property within 3 years, you're subjected to a seller stamp duty. And then total debt servicing ratio says that you can only take so much loan based on your income. And if you got other debt, like let's say cars, renovation, it is minus off. So the government has truly tightened the policies, and that's why the effect of it is really different. Let me show you how is it different. If you can look at it here, see, even the cooling measures that was announced in 2018, the market only reacted for 2 quarters, went down by minus 0%. And then it continued to move up by 3.4%. Okay, you can see that. And then during the COVID was one of the worst market situation, worse than SARS. You know, SARS, the market dropped by minus 20%, but COVID, circuit breaker, the whole world was coming to an halt, and yet the real estate market during the COVID period, during the circuit breaker, only went down by minus 1%. Why so? Okay, this is what I'm trying to explain to you. Singapore's real estate market has remained resilient, And you can see how many other cooling measures in 2021 December, September 2022, and then there was a budget announcement this year. Multiple rounds of either cooling measures or budget announcements and some kind of an adjustments to policies and so on. But nevertheless, the real estate market have moved up another 27.9%. And as of the first quarter of this year, January, February, March, and it has moved up another 3.2%. Okay, you can see this is just on the first quarter. So why this is important for me to explain here is this. Thank you so much. Good evening to the 400 over participants who are listening today. And I'm truly, truly happy for all of you to make time this evening. And I just hope to make it as illustrative as possible so that all of you can have a good takeaway from tonight's presentations. Okay. So the reason why I spend a fair bit of a time in this particular slide is because you must understand the holistic big picture of the Singapore's real estate market, why the real estate market in Singapore is resilient despite all the, even right now we are talking about high interest rates, right? You know that. And global uncertainties because of the war, the American-China tension, Russia-Ukraine zone, and all other things. And yet our Singapore real estate market is steadily, surely have been climbing quarters after quarters. Why? Because today every buyer in Singapore are subjected to, as I said, a regime after cooling measures, that even there's a crisis, people are not dumping the properties because they're not speculators. They all have the holding power. When they have the holding power and they hold on to the property, and the rental market in Singapore is so positive, and many of you know the rental has moved up by 30, 40, 50% in 1 year last year. So there's no incentive for people to be so worried to get rid of the property. And that's why the demand is strong. Okay, so this, I hope so. Sorry for if I've taken a fair bit of time, but I thought it is important to understand where we are. Let's move on to some of the other slides. These slides very basically highlight to you last whole year, the real estate market went by 8.6%. In fact, if you look at it, December last year, it only went up by a small percentage of 0.4. Because why? There was another round of a cooling measures was announced in September 2022. But then January, market get its exuberance with things people think are still positive and so on. It went up by 3.2%. Okay. Yeah. So again, I want to highlight when we talk about the real estate market, and we will be very often be sharing this concept of this thing, language of CCR, RCR, OCR. Why do we use this term? Okay, because it's important for you to understand these terms. Sometimes when you read articles and you read the newspapers, if you don't understand where you are investing and you look at, let's say people say property prices goes up by 3.2% in the first quarter. Even just now, we say last year property prices went up by 8.6%, but you look at it, landed property went up by 9.6% and in just 3 months, 5.7%. So landed we are talking. So today's topic, I'm not going to touch on landed, but again, for non-landed, Coast Central region refers to District 9, 10, 11, Sentosa, and as well as downtown business area. And you know, 9, 10 means Orchard Road area and so on. RCR is just the outskirts of the Coast Central region that stretches from anywhere from Bukit Merah to Queenstown, certain outlying to Marine Parade, to Eunos, to Balestier, all become part of Canning Hill Piers, a portion of River Valley, all is just the outlying areas of the rest of core region. And OCR is outside, is the Tampines, the Woodlands, the Jurong, the Pasir Ris, the Bedok, everything falls Ang Mo Kio under OCR, outside the central region. Yep. So this at least give you an understanding so that you know when you want to invest in a property and you look at it. If you asked last year, which was the best performing region, then you will get the answer, RCR. Look at it. RCR last year went up by 9.7%. And look at it for the first 3 months. Again, if you say among all the non-landed, RCR again went up by 4%. Somehow there's a very strong demand based on quantum, because the core central regions, the quantum are a bit more higher. So people focus on RCR because the rental yields are very positive. So this is just for you to understand where the market is heading. What am I highlighting from these particular slides here is this. I'm bringing you back to the last 2 years time frame from January 21, which is here from January 21, all the way down to March this year. And I've also highlighted the 3 major events, the 2021 cooling measure, September cooling measure, and the budget announced in 2023. But despite any of these things, you look at it, the real estate property prices, the average transacted price of the new sale, if you compare it at the start of 2021 and all the way now from, let's say, 1,500 plus has moved up to cross the $2,000. And similarly, from $1,933 from the RCR, it has crossed the $2,500 mark. And for that matter, for the core central region from 26 to 2936. So despite any of the cooling measures and the crisis, it takes some little bit down, maybe 1-2 months, but regardless, it just moved positively upward. Okay, now let me just see how has a public housing, and right now that we have got close to 500 of the participants here, I just wanted to give you a flare of where is the public housing heading. Public housing had got 2 years of double-digit run. If you look at it in year 2021, these 4 quarters was well above the 12% increment, and last year was 10.4%. But the good news here is there's some resistance come into play, as we notice for the very first time since how many quarters that we have a less than 1%, 0.9% increase for the first quarter. It may be good news from the buyer's perspective, but from a seller's perspective, I also want to let you know realism have to set in, because public housing cannot keep going up. Then there's an issue about sustainability and whether people can afford these properties. So if you look at it overall, public housing is at its all-time peak. If you compare it, never in the history of Singapore since 1965 independence, the property prices are at its all-time high as far as public housing. And if you look at it just from year 2020, we are talking about barely 3 years, public housing has gone up by 31.9%. What does it mean? Which means to say there are a lot of public housing owners right now who are sitting with the property that has appreciated over the last couple of years, and they are sitting in a pot of gold that can help and facilitate them to increase in terms of the price. Yep. Okay, if you're a public housing owner, you also need to be well aware of, would you expect the public housing prices to continue to go up month after month, quarter after quarter? I think it's not likely. Let me tell you one of the concerns where the government had. You realize why this period from 2013 all the way to 2018, the public housing for a period of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, 6 years was all the way negative, 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 because the government inject 100,000 BTO flats, and as well as supply, and also to make sure the public housing is sustainable, because in the past it was also gone 14%, 10%, 17%, and it is huge increase. So the government felt that is not sustainable. So the same thing the government is introducing now, government have announced another 100,000 BTO flats in the next 4 years, from last year including. So why? Because public housing. So which means to say, I'm not saying that the public housing will go negative, but you can already see signs of resistance with a 0.9% increase in the first 3 months of this year. Okay, so some of you really should take this opportunity to re-strategize. You're holding on to a property that has appreciated on a double digit over the last couple of years. As I said, almost 30% in the last 3 years, easily on average double digit 10, 10, 10. And if you're expecting it to continue to be 10, 10, 10, I'm telling you it is not likely to happen, because then it will go bust in terms of affordability. Okay, so in terms of volume, it has been really very positive take from the lows of a 17,000 to year 201 was 31,000. Last year was close to 28,000. And the first quarter, we already have close to 7,000. And I think we will still do anything between 28 to 29,000 public housing in terms of a resale. Let's look at some of the interest rates. People are very concerned in the market of the interest rates going up. But we also know the effects of the high interest rates, even in US, and there are some casualties, either be it companies or is it bank, Silicon Valley Bank, SVBs, and so on. And actually, the America decided to increase is to curb inflation that was going at a very high. But to me, I think it is almost have reached a plateau. If you look at it, you see the government initially increased from 0.25 points to 50, 75, 75, 75, 75. Now they reduce it to 0.50. They further reduce it to 0.25 and further reduce it to 0.25. And probably we can expect one more increase, and it is expected to plateau and eventually will come down over time. It have to. Okay, so this is what is a good news. So you are entering the market, especially if you're buying a new launch. One of the things here is this: you don't start to pay your mortgages in 1 year, 2 year down the time until the development have attained is piling and so on, because it's progressive payment. Okay, so this is one thing. Yeah, this is what we say is that, yeah, there are a lot of articles say federal rate hikes by a 0.25 percentage point indicates increases are near an end. US Federal Reserve delivers small rate high amidst global banking turmoil. So this is where we know there are more tensions, more things. We do not want to go into a recession. So all indications from analysts are second half of this year, it will likely to plateau, and that by next year, you can see some adjustment to the interest rates going downwards. And that's a positive news for many of us. Yeah. Okay, so these are some of the casualties. The rise and fall of Silicon Valley Bank, tech lenders collapse. Analysts as banks break markets hear the sound of peaking interest rates. So these are almost on every area. You will see the sources all as recent as in the month of last month and so on. So we are also quite certain, having spoken to many analysts, so you can enter the market knowing we have reached almost the peak and plateau for a moment and will likely to adjust downward moving forward. Okay, then the key question here is, why should we buy real estate property? Yeah. And I always say you have two choices. Either you buy the property when the market is really hot and the developer push the price to the brim, because every developer wants to also max out the profit to their shareholders. Or you enter the market when the market is to a buyer's market. The greater uncertainty means the developer have to be sensitive into the pricing. But anyway, why should one buy property is because it's as a legacy property portfolio, diversify, passive income building. Okay, I will just talk about this more again, inflation against inflation. Okay, so my main today's sharing here is this: why one should buy real estate and why one should upgrade to a better property. Okay, so the key way I look at it here is this: first and foremost, we have to enter a foothold. The key word here is this foothold, okay? And this is very important because there are a lot of people who try to do this. Here is like trying to save enough to enter the market. And if the market is moving in per quarter or last year by 8%, the year before by 10%, how much can you save to fight these inflation increases in prices? You can't. So the whole idea here is to get a foothold in the market within your means. let that property appreciate, and then within the next 3 to 5 years after the seller stamp duty period, reorganize your portfolio with a better property if you can afford and you have got more savings or you have a better pay increment and so on. So holding power for anyone who wants to buy a property, and I would like to say a mid and a long-term view, no speculation. We never want people to speculate in the property. And how do we define a mid-term? Here is ideally towards no less than 3 years, but ideally a 5 years holding period time horizon is something you should work towards. And then with the capital appreciation of the asset, and then you can move towards upgrading to the asset progression. I'm going to show you and illustrate an example how people can do that and build your wealth, okay? And eventually, if you desire and you have the ability, multiple properties. Let me give you an example. Very busy slides, looks a bit of too many numbers, but I do not want you to be so worried and concerned about it. I'm just showing an example. You see, even in a very young couple, he or she starts with a BTO journey, build to order flats or a resale flat with grant, okay? And all he or she comes out here is a 20%, which is 120,000. And with that, he takes a loan of 480,000 because the purchase price is 600. If you pay 120, 480 is your loan. So over the next 5 years, okay, you would have paid a mortgages of 130,000. Yep. And which means at the end of 5 years, your loan from 480 would have reduced to $107,200. Assuming you sell the property at 850,000 after the 5 years MOP, which is 8 years from the time you purchase. A BTO take about 3 years to construct, you collect the keys, and you have a minimum occupation. And over the 8 years, even if you put the property appreciate based on a 5% average, because I took why the 5%, assuming the annual growth rate is at 5% based on a 5-year average from 2017 from 2021. I took an average. You know, last year was 8.6, the year before. I don't want to say that. Just property prices keeping pace with inflation 5%. That property would have gone up to 850. So today what we are trying to say is because you had a foothold here, this was your initial foothold. Therefore, in 5 years down the road, when you sell your property at 850, the outstanding loan with the bank is 407,200. You get back 442,000 a lump sum cash and back to your CPF, depending on how much your CPF was utilized. And can you imagine now these 442,800, if you transfer a portion, 350,000, and buy a property that is 1.4 million, because the 355,000 is only based on the 25%, and you're still keeping a balance of 92,800. I'm not asking you to plow back all the money so that you want to have some nice things or you want to have some renovation or some other cost, and you still have close to 100,000. You plow back a 350,000 here, and you take a loan, and over the next 5 years, if you, on assumption you can afford to pay for this house, and you can secure a loan, after 5 years, you would have paid a mortgages of about 300,000 because it's 1 year, 60,000, 1 month is 5,000, in 6 years, 5 years is 250, and if 6 years is 300,000. But your outstanding loan, you would have taken a loan of 1,050,000, but your loan would have dropped to 950 because you would have paid 100,000 less the interest. And if you sell the property at 1.8 million, minus your outstanding loan, now you are having in your war chest or net worth of cash and CPF 850,000. And by this, another 5 to 8 years, and from 30 to now you're 45, if you're a director of a company, I'm not saying that this is applicable for everyone. Hear me. Yeah, I'm not saying that. Yep. But for those people who could, and then they take the 850 and plow back and buy, let's say, a small inter-terrace or a freehold property, condominium or an apartment, and plow these things, and he moves on, the same I don't want to explain, and if he ever choose to sell, he will be able to get almost 1.8 million, And thereafter, if you want to buy a bigger property or upgrade to a landed, or you want to buy one small and one, it's all up to him. So I'm not going to go on to this journey. Okay, pause a moment, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. My main message to you here is this: we have a choice. If a couple who can afford to upgrade choose to just remain here because they said, hey, it's all stressful talking, I don't want too much of thing, I just want to be comfortable, he or she is not wrong, and I respect that. But if he or she is able to upgrade and choose not to, I just want to caution that come, let's say 20 years later, when you want to retire, what would you have here is this: the $600,000 property may be $1 million, but it will not be a $3 million or $4 million. It will not be. So the whole idea I'm trying to say here is this: let's push the boundary within our comfort to own a better asset property so that at our retirement age, we can right size, downsize, cash out, because property prices keep pace with inflation. We can live life with dignity, not dependent on CPF payout on monthly, whatever it is. And that's the whole journey about building capital. Okay, I'm quite sure people may have got different thoughts, different agreement. Actually, no one is right or wrong. Neither am I wiser. I've only shared with you a concept that many people, including myself, have built capital through this journey. But there's some people who choose to be comfortable because they've got other priorities and commitment, and we respect that. Okay, so this is how I just wanted to share. Okay, now let me very quickly talk about freehold new launch versus 99-year or leasehold new launch versus 99-year-old resale. Okay, so some of the key pointers that I want to highlight, the key points. Today, I'm just focusing on the freehold development. I really think it is a premium to own a freehold property. Why? You see, the difference that one pay is only 10 to 20%. Sorry, I go and cancel the thing. 10 to 20% higher than a 99-year leasehold property. But you know, a 99-year leasehold property, the blink of an eye, if you continue to stay there for another 25 years, the lease is going to drop to 60 over years or eventually lesser. How much can the capital of a 99-year leasehold property that you buy now 30 years down the road or 40 years down the road will be? No doubt you can exit and move on. But as long as you buy a 99-year leasehold, if you hold on to it, that's a problem. But if you are buying a freehold property, you have a legacy plan, which is you preserve its value. And I'm going to show you. And for freehold property, there's always a higher en bloc sale. Because why? They are limited in supply, freehold, and forever the status of freehold is there. Another developer buying it, he don't need to top up the lease to sell again, and to top up, he have to pay millions, 100 millions, depending on the size of the site. So that's why freehold hold its value. The advantage of a 99, what is the advantage? You buy it at 15% or 20% or 10% cheaper because you can't afford it maybe, okay? But if you can afford it, I'll ask you to go for freehold because the pluses are huge advantage. But some people say that, hey, never mind, anyway, I'm going to leave after 10. Then you're not wrong. You can still buy 99, okay? It's a matter of what strategy that you want to do. And for 99, you get a higher rental yield. Why do I say that? Because a freehold, you buy 2 million, and 99, you'll buy 1.7 million because 15% cheaper. But from a tenant perspective, he's going to pay the same rent. If whether freehold is 4,000 a month, 99 is going to pay 4,000 a month because he don't care, because he's only got a short-term interest of 2-year lease. So because you get 4,000 a month on an investment of 1.7 versus a 4,000 over 2 million, obviously the 99 seems to be a better, higher rental yield. Okay, so that's why some people still buy 99 because they're only looking at short-term gains because the desire is to get rid of it in less than 10 years and move on. So it is not wrong. So it is about a game plan, assuming you think you want to have a little bit more shelter because you are looking at investing beyond 10 years and more, a freehold makes a better difference. Then last, we talk about 99, of leasehold or resale property. Obviously, the resale property is the lowest among the three at entry level. The rental is also the highest among the three. But the biggest downfall of this year is this: capital appreciations are not substantial. If you wish to hear me, let me just take another 120 seconds to explain this. What do I mean by the capital appreciation of a resale property will not be high? Because, hear me, let's say this is a resale property. 20 years ago, somebody bought it for 1 million. Today, you are buying it at 1.8 million. While a new launch is 2.5, but you say, hey, I'm buying it 1.8 million, while the new launch is 2.5. So it's cheaper, I buy this. But the problem here is you want to sell 5 years later for 2.2 million, you may not be able to get the price. Why you may not be able to get the price? Because there's so many people who bought it at 1 million and they are happy to sell it at 1.95 million for whatever dire needs, because there are 400 people who bought it out of the 600 units 20 years ago, and they're happy to sell at 1.5 million. Even if you ask 2.2, nobody will buy. Yep, that's your problem. And the bank cannot give. But on the other hand, for a new launch, if it is a new launch, everybody buy at 2.5. 10 years down the road, everybody will ask for 3 million because nobody bought it at 2 million. Everybody had to factor the interest they have paid and the break even and so on. And the bank can match the 3 million. That's why a new launch, the capital appreciation is always there than older property. So the same new launch after 20 years will come back to the same cycle. So this is just, I don't have all the time. Please come for my PWS. I'm going to talk for 2 solid days. Myself, Talvin Fong, Eddie, and it is just happening end of the month. Then you can understand complete concept of this, because I don't have the whole night to share, in all fairness. What is the premium of a freehold? These are some article written and so on. A lot of research has been done, and they say generally most of the data shows it is only a difference of 15 to 20%. Then I ask you a question. If you have got a property that is 15% more of freehold versus 99, should you seriously consider? I think it's definitely a big plus point. A legacy that can be handed over if you, for whatever reasons, let's say 10 years down the road, there's another crisis, another global tension, you are not worried about cyclical, because the longer you hold is still a good bottle of wine, freehold. Next thing, not risk of returning back to the state since ownership is perpetuity. Okay, why do I say that here is this? Sometime a 99-year leasehold, at the end of the lease, you got no choice because you get zero. And I will explain to you how this has happened. And why freehold is so appealing. One of the biggest danger here is this: for leasehold property, after it crosses the 60-year mark, for the first 10 years may not be so bad because it can still keep it. After the 60-year mark, the decline is sharp, and a sharp drop until it reaches zero. So that's why if you're buying a 99-year leasehold brand new, you better sell the property with an intake of at least close to 70 or 70 over years to the next buyer to carry through, and you exit the thing. If you now buy a resale property with already 20-year-old and the developer took 4 years to construct, you buy with a 75-year lease, you stay there for another 20 years, and then it becomes 55-year balance lease. I tell you, your asset may become a liability when you want to exit, and that's not so good for you. Okay, so that's the risk about you buying an older 99-year property. But they are cheap. Yeah, higher potential for en bloc. You know, one of the big thing here is this. Do you know there are no freehold land? All government land sale is gazetted in parliament that it have to be 99-year leasehold only. Those freehold developments are private land that previously the owners have now selling it. So this is such a limited supply. Give you an example. This article appeared in 2021. There were 191 terrace houses with 60-year lease. Okay, these houses were sold in the 1960s. So 2,260 year happened. what they have to do? 191 units at Geylang Lorong 3 vacated, ownership of land returned to the state. How much were they compensated by the government? $0. Zero. But imagine 60 years ago, whoever who bought these 191 units at Geylang, assuming they bought it for $20,000, because those days the prices were around there, let's say even $30,000, they could have paid a freehold inter-terrace in 1960 for just another 5,000 more, 25 to 35, because it is only about 20% more. Today, the inter-terrace either at Geylang or Lorong Melayu or near Kembangan is $3 million. $3 million. So do you see the earlier graph I say? How come this guy pay only 20% more and 50 years later or 60 years later he get 3 million, while this guy also paid 20,000, just 5,000 lesser, but 2 years ago he get zero, because the lease has expired. Yeah. So that is the truth of the matter of a 99 versus freehold. So you have to be very clear in your game plan. Whether you buy a resale property, what is the balance lease? Before the curve hit you, are you able to exit? Or if you really want a freehold as part of a legacy plan, because this is a good place, good property, eventually you will appreciate kind of thing. This is something that you have to decide. Limited supply of freehold homes in the whole of RCR in Singapore. Look at it. Right now in Singapore, if you say there are only around 300 units. And you know, one unit in Sky Everton to Terra Hills was just launched this year, but this is at the area of Pasir Panjang area. At the price average, they sold well above $2,600. There are only 300 in Singapore right now, available I'm talking about. And then look at the prices. Yep. So these are all the 99. If you look at it, I put all the 99 years here and all the freehold here. Okay. Yeah, like Royal Mark is below 2,000 because they're very smallish development. But if you look at Mayor Mansion and Terra Hill, it's all about 2,662. But at 99 is not cheaper either. You look at Leaf MB for this year, it has gone to 2.6, even though last year when the launch developer was less than 2.5, 2.4 something. One Pearl Bank is 2.6, and Canning Hill here Pierce on average at the launch hit $3,000. They are 99, but they're freehold. So that's why some of the 99 based on the location even command a premium. Okay. And I'm just trying to give you a study that we did some examples of what is the current prices. So these are just the earlier part that we say at 99 a freehold. We took all about a same square size plus minus 100 square meters, about 1,000 square foot. That you can see all about 1,001 to 1,000 plus. And the average selling prices are all about comparable. So you can just see this is 2.4, 2.5 for this, but here is about 10% only more or 15% only more. Yep, for freehold. Capital appreciation potential. Just want to give you what do I meant by this and how does this work. This one is just to give you an illustration. These were the properties that were completed in beginning of 2000. So I've chosen 299 Legenda at Juchat and Dunman View. Okay. And also I took one Ford in 2005 and Emerald. What is the difference here is this? These are freehold, these are 99. Yeah, people paid about $500. Here people pay about $600, 600, 696, marginally more. But what we did here is this, 10 years down the road, this is 2012. Okay, this is 2012. This is 10 years later, we track the prices. How much has it moved? So during the first 10 years, you don't see huge difference. The 99-year leasehold property has increased by 66% and 77%, while the freehold has increased by 84 and 90%. We take another 10 years down the road because lately the prices has been very strong and so on. Yes, it has moved up from the beginning by 147% and 112%. But both the freehold has continued to increase from the day they purchased at 161. Even though you look at it, both the freehold and purchase was much higher than these two prices. But in terms of the appreciation, the freehold over after 20 years in terms of its appreciations are much stronger. Can you imagine if I hold on for this property another 10 years and another 10 years? So what will happen to freehold? It will still hold its position, but here it will start to come down for 99. So that's something that you need to be aware, the differences between freehold and 99. Okay. So what we did was we tried to do some of all the District 15, the top 15 freehold in 2022, and we ranked them, how much profit these people made. It could be as areas like Hague Court at Hague area, or Waterside, Makina, One Ember, Mayorside, Flamingo Valley, which is near Siglap, okay, and the number of units that were sold. And look at it, every one of these people who sold this property, none were loss-making. In fact, we tracked not only the top 15, we tracked every freehold property that sold in District 15, none had a negative profit. So people made a profit from 1 point average, and this is an average of the 8 units. That means the Waterside people who sell different units, I take all their profit and divide by 8, people make 1.6 million, 1 over million to $250,000. That's the way we look at how the performance of the freehold been. Okay, you know, I need break, right? I'm not saying break, I'm not going on a break. Please, you don't leave me, the 450 over people. I just wanted to drink water, but I want to share with you. Actually, this is very exciting. I'm just inviting you all to come to be a PropNex friends. Why do I say that? When you scan these, you know, I just sent a report yesterday, the day before, when and the first quarter results was out, the 3.2%. So I give free reports to all my PropNex friends, and you don't pay 1 cent. Private new home sales, residential property, landed properties, or good class bungalows, or commercial, and so on. So this is something is very good. Right at the moment, while I'm drinking now, if you can see me, you can scan, but later you can register. If you're bored while listening to me, you can always register as a PropNex friend, because not only you get report, this other is a specialty report, GCB, luxury, HDB, quarterly commercial reports, and so on. And you also get a lot of privileges, trust me. Like, for example, there are also some videos of some of my past talk versus these strategies or that strategies and so on. And therefore, if you want to hear, you can always go there and hear some of these updates and things like that for you. And all these are free for PropNex friends, but you have to become a PropNex friend. Okay, so this is just a short break as I'm drinking my second gulp of water. I hope you have already scanned. And I just welcome all of you to be a PropNex friend. Actually, they got a lot more benefits like discounts here, but I don't want to focus on that. I want knowledge, okay? Okay, let's continue. Let's continue on what is happening. What is happening? Will new launch prices fall in 2023? Okay, that's the key question people asking. Will new launch prices will drop? I go and buy and then suddenly property prices drop. Am I going to be the last person like a sucker who ended up thinking that, oh, everybody's entering and I entered? No. Let me just give you some of the analysis where the market is heading. Should you wait or should you go in? Look at all this development in recent. Seneca was sold in January launch. Developers sold 60% of the 268 units at above $2,000 at Tanah Merah area at an average price of almost $2,100. Terra Hills, 2,650. Developer also sold well over 40% at 100 over units was sold, close to 40%, and 100 over units were sold at the price of 2,650, and the highest per square foot at Pasir Panjang was $2,850 because they are freehold. Then Botany sold at almost 2,070, 48% was sold on the launch weekend, and the developer also had a good run in the number of sales of the unit that was taken up on the first day of the launch. And we just had 53% of Tembusu 2 days ago. Yep, on the 10th April, this article came out, a 99-year leasehold in District 15, so 53%, 340 units at a price of 2,465. So if I give you a proposition at 2,650, just less than 10% of freehold, will you enter the market at District 15, a premium location, I think it is almost a no-brainer to enter the market. So that's something that you should seriously think about it. Rising prices of OCR and the RCR recent launches. I'm just giving you how the property prices have moved compared to last year. You look at it, all these prices for 2001 area for the OCR and 21 to 24, but now all go to 24 to 26, and all these things also going towards 2000 exceeding for stable for OCR and RCR. Why I think the property prices will remain resilient. There are many reasons why it is resilient. A couple of reasons here are, number one here, look at all the land bid prices. Like this development, Slim Barracks area, both parcel A and parcel B, 10 developers came in and they all bought the land at 1,245 and 1,210. And all these development on average selling price will be close to $2,400. Okay. Next, this is where that we are talking about the bid that was Jalan Tembusu. You see, the developer bought the land at 1,302. Actually, we estimated at 2,004, but actually the result came out last weekend. They sold at 2,475 average, above than our estimated. Dunman Road developer bought higher than Tembusu, 1,302. So what is he going to sell? Below 2,475? Cannot be because of all the costs. So he's also going to sell anything between on average 2,450 to $2,500. That is for Dunman. Then you look at Pine Grove and Bukit Timah Link. Both 5 bidders came in, developers 1,003, 1,343. What are all these are not launched yet. Some are towards the second half of the year. Some could be even the beginning of next year. Okay, because this development was only bought on 3rd November 2022. If the developer take 15 months, it may be January 2024 will be launched, unless he can squeeze it by end of this year, which might be tough. Yep. So I'm just highlighting to you, because the developers are all buying the land at a relatively higher cost of price, there's little leeway he can sell lower than current prices. And construction costs are not coming down either. And then these are all the other bid, Lentor Central, Lentor Hills, Lentor Garden. Every of these developments are expected to sell well above $2,000. Okay. Next point. One we should always look at here is this demand and supply, right? So look at it. The unsold stock in 2019 was 36,000. It have dwindled all the way right now to only about 16,000 units. And out of the 16,000 units, I further break it down to which areas, CCR, RCR, and OCR. Currently, the balance unsold flat in the 3 regions are only 5678, 6674, and 3672, which means the current supply, I think based on the average over the last 7 years, it can last less than 2 years in RCR, less than 3 years in CCR, and less than 1 year in OCR, the supply. So which again mean that for quite certain with the current dwindling stock downward and the land bidded prices are relatively high, construction costs are not coming down, how can property prices next year and the following year, you expect it to be lower? Okay, this is something to look at statistics to understand. Value proposition in the RCR area, certainly they are huge because affordable at entry price for private leasing. Okay, I mean rarity from the perspective of diminishing stock, and as well as reasonable pricing. Today, developers are really very sensitive. Trust me, the developers are still sensitive in the pricing because they know if they overprice it, there will be a pullback because of current issues. I mean, the current global uncertainties. But if the market is really hot, low interest rates, trust me, the developer will be selling at a much higher price. Okay, so these are some of the value proposition. Diminishing inventory, even as far as the RCR, the unsold inventory, has dwindled over time today to the current state. The meaning of the all-time peak all the way has moved down in terms of the RCR inventory. Okay. Now let's look at the increasing average new home prices. And then again, I'm looking at RCR from 1,500 in 2016. Today, you can't even buy those here. From 1,500, it has moved to 2006. And you know, some of the RCR are across the 3,000, but they are locations at near River Valley area and so on. Okay. Sustained demand from Singaporeans, then it's always important, something that you invest, is there a Singaporean demand? Because at the end of the day, we cannot solely depend on foreigners. And then you look at this SPR, Singapore PR and Singapore citizen buys almost 93% of all the RCR properties, with only 7% coming from foreigners. Because the rich wealth of the foreigners go to the coast central region, but the Singaporeans who want to remain and stay close to city, they look at RCR as a value proposition. Resilient RCR rental market, if you look at it, anything from the last 5 years or so, yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, is all anything well above 28,000 to 30,000 is the demand of people who always looking for rental, because the rental market has also been resilient. And you know, the rental market last year alone has moved up to almost 30%, but that is on average. But you know, RCR actually has commanded more. This is the whole of the Singapore island. And this is what I'm talking about, growing rental across all regions in terms of per square foot, from $3.94, it has all the way moved to $5.52, and the highest increase of 38% RCR today price. And we are talking about January 2022 to February, and this we are only talking about in 14 months, okay? So 38% of increment in the RCR and the highest increase in the rental. So rental market is also relatively positive and so on. District 15 is definitely desirable in many aspects of it. This is where District 15, the eastern side, the whole of East Coast, the airport, and all other things that is happening on the eastern. Okay, this is the region. I'm not going to go into the details, because this part 2, I just want to encourage a couple of you to wait for another 15 minutes, because someone is going to really give you a very exciting product that probably will be so close to a 99 leasehold property with marginal difference of freehold development that is so beautifully designed. You don't buy is also okay, but you must go and just take a look. I just want you to just hold on to another half an hour, but I have not finished. Let me just highlight. Right now, if you look at District 15, the new launches, there are only balanced 83 units. These are Royal Hallmark, Amber, Saraya Residence, Leaf at MB has been launched last year. They got some of the other sizes that may not fit your demand is available. Okay, so where is the market 2023 is heading? That we talked about it. Yes, there's economic uncertainty, interest rates hike, but I've already explained from all analysts and from all the federal smallest percentage of increases, everybody saying it's almost coming to the tail end, and this year we are expecting to plateau and down, and inflation will erode if you want to keep on saving to enter the market, or if you're waiting to enter the market next year, following year, hoping that the property prices will come down. I've already explained Singapore's real estate market, because of the cooling measures, they are not speculators. So you don't expect a price correction to come down by 10, 20% before you enter the market. It's not likely to happen. All probability will keep going up, maybe not double digit, keeping pace with inflation, 5 to 6%. So if you do your sums and you speak to a property salesperson and you understand if this is a right product, and why people are really always excited about new launches, because new launches give you many advantages. First, you just pay a down payment. The progressive payment, you take another 3, 4 years. Interest rate by that time come down, but you enter the market at current prices and then holding on to it over a longer period of time and to attain a capital appreciation. So our prediction here is these private property prices will go up by 6 to 8%. HDB is only about 6% because you know it only went up by 0.9. So it is not showing any signs of downward trend. So it is still a positive prospect if you are looking at the properties to move up. So as far as the rest of Coast Central region is concerned, for average 99-year leasehold properties, anything between 2005 to 2007, a freehold, you should put a 10% premium, anything between 2007 to 2009. But if you can get it anything lower than 2007 for a freehold development in District 15 is a good buy. Okay, that's the way we analyze. You know, the average price of all RCR properties in Singapore is well above $2,600. Close to 2,000. So if you can buy a freehold at 2007, so it's given, by right, it should have a premium of another 10%, but the developers may not be pushing the prices. Okay, so before I stop share, there's also something very interesting. I encourage people to just get 108,000 cash. We are giving away $108,000 cash. This is not 1088. There's only for $108,000 cash for anybody. You can just join and learn within 1 hour to become a champion and understand the Singapore real estate market. This is the key thing that I mentioned. Hear me, my friends. I really, truly appreciate the 400 of you still listening to me, and just hang on there for another couple more minutes. This is a 2-day seminar. Myself, Calvin Fong, Eddie, and Yong Hop will be sharing. And it only costs you $97. At Suntech, we give you coffee and all other things. It is about, can you imagine? I talk with passion for just 1 hour. Hear me on the 2 days. Hear Calvin, and it is a system we explain to you so that you do not make a mistake in entering the property, knowing, and there will be homework and all be given. Is just spending time with us. Okay, this is wonderful. Scan the QR code, understand, because we got limited seats because 600 consumers have already signed up for these things. Okay, last one. Here is this. If you want any other everyday bite-sized property updates by Calvin Fong, you can always follow his TikTok that he's done at I Need to Know. Okay, I'm just going to stop here. These are some of the sharing, but please stay because I'm going to share with you, another person is going to share with you something going to be really, really exciting as I just stopped here. Jeep, the project chief for Continuum, mesmerize them about this development Jeep so that people have a good understanding because preview is starting soon. Wishing all of you the very best. Thank you so much for staying with me. More than 450 of you on a Tuesday night. God bless. Jeep, all yours.
Hey, thank you, CEO Boss. Okay, I'm going to do a quick sharing on the screen now, and I really enjoy Boss segment. Really very, very empowering and inspiring, right? So for myself, I'm going to go through this freehold project in the District 15 with what our CEO, Mr. Ismail, has shared, right? For District 15, freehold always actually have a very strong performance based on the data shown, right? So this is actually what I'm going to go through with all of you. This is one freehold plot that is very, very rare and hard to come by. And it's going to be one of the biggest launch in recent years for a freehold new project in Singapore, right? So it consists of 2 plots of land. You can see actually these 2 plots of land separated by a road called Tham Siu Avenue, right? So with a total area, if you add up, will be about almost 270,000. Almost 270,000. And that is actually what we will be expecting for this upcoming launch. The project is called Continuum, right? And 2 plots of land, individually self-sufficient with their own facilities. So don't go away because I'm going to share with you what kind of pricing developer is going to push out when we start the booking, right? We already have the latest information from the developer. So today I will be going through some of the very important things that you have to take note in case if you're coming down to the show flat, or in case if you're not aware, you can always check with our agent later on, right? So that will be the thing that I'm going to share with all of you tonight. And these 2 plot of land will be interconnected with a sky bridge. So the bridge is very nicely designed. Later I'll show you a little bit of a sneak preview of how the bridge looks like. And we have actually 2 sky garden, right, interconnected on the 17th floor towers, right? So that will be something that you can expect from this project. And right now, maybe nothing to see, but I'm going to show you some of the perspective that we have gotten from the developer, right? Just bear with me for a while. I'm trying to see whether my video is turned on. Are y'all able to see my slides before I proceed further? Let me see. Yes, okay. Why I don't see my own face? Is my video turned on? Oh, yes, okay. And good. Okay, good. So I just want to explain a little bit on this location, right? Tham Siu Avenue, which is this project, is located on these two plot of land, one is located on the north and the other one on the south plot, add up to have 816 units. So with this size, it becomes Singapore the third largest freehold project in terms of the number of units in a development. So that is going to happen in District 15 Katong area here, right? And this area in the last 10 over years, we don't see a new launch upcoming here in this part of the island until recently. Last week we have this Tambusu, which is very close, right? Tambusu is around here. If you see my cursor, so in fact we are very close to Tambusu Grand, but Tambusu Grand is actually a 99 years project. So this continuum is a freehold project, right? And over here we are very close to the 3 MRT station. On walking distance, Nakota is less than 10 minutes walking distance. Of course, Paya Lebar, you take slightly above 10 minutes, but it's still walkable. And the upcoming one, Tanjong Katong MRT station, will be about close to 20 minutes if you walk down, right? But there will be a direct bus to bring it down. I think about 2-3 bus stop, if I can remember correctly. Right, so it's not very far from all these 3 MRT stations. So on top of the MRT station, well, we have the wet market and hawker center and some of the retail shop around here, which is less than 400 meters away from this continuum project. So in terms of location, we are very, very convenient, right? And of course, Paya Lebar, we have about 6 big shopping center over there, shopping malls, and we have grade A office. Right, in this area, they are able to house more than 10,000 employees. So that will form a very huge pool of tenants that are able to rent the apartment from you in case if you are buying for investment, right? And of course, those parents looking for schools, we have 3 primary schools within 1 click to our projects. Also, in terms of location-wise and the necessity, I think we have everything very close to this project, right? And of course, East Coast Park and the seaside are also nearby. So this is the location of where the continuum is located, right? And in this area, I actually make some comparison, because this area, we do a study to see how is the performance of all the past project in this area based on the project size and the number of units. So from there, we just want to see whether a bigger freehold plot of land having more units, is it a good advantage for those people who are buying for own stay or buying for investment? Will it help to increase the capital, in terms of capital appreciation, will it be faster? It will be the demand higher as compared to those smaller projects, right? So this is something that I just want to go through very fast because our boss Ismail already done some research data for all of you to see District 15 freehold performance very strong, right? So here I just want to make some comparison. The first one I'm going to do is actually the project that is just across or behind our continuum, we call this Butterworth 8. This is actually a freehold project and it's one of the biggest in this cluster here, right? So you can see their performance over the 99 years, which is Namban View. You can see actually there's a huge performance in terms of the capital growth, right? So that explains the 15 buyers are more prompt to the big freehold project, and they really like those bigger plot of land, having a better facilities and more units. So that is actually one of the study that we have actually come across. And of course, we also do like freehold to freehold comparison. Freehold and freehold comparison, right? Freehold, huge, big land versus freehold, small land. How is their performance in this particular area, right? So this is actually a 2 projects whereby they are just opposite one another in the same lane, right? And over the years, this is their performance from 2008 to 2012, right? Butterworth 8 actually increased by 107% and Regency increased by 52%. So we are talking about actually 2 times faster increment for Butterworth 8 as compared to the smaller size project in this particular area, right? So moving on, we also compare the Marine Parade area, right? Terra View and the St. Patrick residences. And of course, St. Patrick is actually a smaller project, less than 100,000 square feet, right? Versus the more than 100,000 square feet Terra View. Then you can see their performance is 114 versus 56%. And that's actually 2 times faster, for the bigger size project in Katong or District 15. The big project always appreciate much faster if you actually given long enough time. You will see a difference. So like what our boss, CEO Ismail mentioned, for freehold is actually a good product to do some legacy planning, meaning you're going to hold for quite a substantial amount of times. So over the years, you will see your assets, start to appreciate if it is freehold, right, in this particular district. Okay, and the bigger is the better because it's very rare and very hard to come by. You see a very big, huge plot of land like the continuum. We are actually about 270,000 square feet, right? So this is a report in overall to show you all the big size land freehold in Katong, having many units in the development. Right, over the years, you will see their performance is at least about 6%, 6% per year. Right, so that is how strong a big project freehold in Katong has performed in a period of times. Right, and of course, we are 9 minutes to MRT, Dakota MRT, which is one of the nearest MRT to our project. Right, for drivers also, it's very, very convenient because we are connected to all the highways. And if you look at here, I just want to emphasize a little bit on we are having a 2 full basement car parks. 2 full basement car park, and it's 1-on-1 ratio. So that is very rare for projects, especially freehold, such a that is near MRT. Normally you will not get 1-to-1 car park allocation. But for this one, developer actually really dig 2 full basement. And there's actually a lot of cost. But they just want to give the best to the buyer. And this project is actually a very luxury project in terms of the provision as well, right? So when you come down to the show fair, you will understand what I'm trying to say. You will experience for yourself how luxurious this project are, right? And we are having a pneumatic waste conveyancing system in the basement as well, and everything are tucked below, like the power station, the refuel, rubbish chute, all these are in the basement. So from the ground or above the house, you will never see all these unsightful things, right? They are all kept under the basement. Oh, very beautiful plot, north plot and the south plot, and separated by this Tamsil Avenue. So this is something very, very unique because the developer actually incorporate or integrate this public route into let you feel like it's part of the development. So they're going to widen the Tamsil Avenue, and they're going to put a lot of plants and even some sitting area for public when they walk along these streets. Right, so this is something that you can experience when you come down to our show flat. Look at the model, you will have a very good experience on this Tamsil Avenue, how it is being blended into the north and the south plot of land. Right, so 2 entrances, one from the south, one from the near to the Tanjong Katong route, which is the north plot, and the other one is actually near to the head route, which is the south plot entrance. Right, and they both have their own set of facilities. Means each side have their own set of facilities, and one side is already self-sufficient. And now imagine if you buy into one of these site, you are able to enjoy 2 plot of the land, 2 set of the facilities by the interconnecting bridge, which you can see from here. So this is something whereby you never come across in Singapore, first in Singapore, that we are having this kind of arrangement, right? So imagine if you are going to buy for your own stay, your family member will have a lot of things to enjoy on this 2 plot of land. And if you're going to buy for investment, your renter, your tenant is going to enjoy. I mean, it's going to get so much enjoyment on these two plot of land because one plot is really so big, and they got a lot of facility, and two sides are having different kind of facilities, right? So there is a beauty of owning a project in this continuum, right? It will help you to enhance your value, and definitely your rental price is going to be much better, right? Because tenant got more things to enjoy. Yeah. So we only have 6 towers, 3 on each side, right? And this is actually a premium tower. This is also a premium tower, which is having only 6 units per floor. And one thing I want to draw to your attention is this area here. Well, this is actually under conserve. So developer will keep one of the bungalow and we'll name this as Tiamsiu House. So it's a very, very beautiful conserved bungalow. When you come down to the show flat, you will have the experience on this as well, right? If you are a condo owner in this project, it's like you own a very nice big plot of bungalow land in the Katong area, right? So this is the beauty of having this project as well. We have a conserved bungalow as a clubhouse, right? The other clubhouse is here, which is a modern clubhouse, right? And the facilities, like what I say, every site have their own set of facilities. So there is something very, very unique, and you get a lot of enjoyment for family or for tenants, right? This is a clubhouse, conserved and modern, right? And this modern one is actually connected with our Helix bridge, right? So this is the conserved clubhouse. So if you own a condo unit here, it's like you also co-own a bungalow, right? You can see the big plot of bungalow land, very, very beautiful, and the architect really did a very good job for this. They actually integrate the Paragon house concept on the courtyard as well. So it's really, very, very beautiful. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. And this is a Helix bridge that are connecting the south and the north plot of land. Very, very beautiful, right? Some of the comments from the agency, well, this one look even better than the MPS bridge. Right? The feel is different because you are actually connecting the two condominium block into one, and above the bridge, you are able to see and look down to the pool. So it's very nice. I think the experience is going to be very different, right, compared to other condos. So before that, agent already have a chance to go down to this project to have a preview. Right, everybody are so impressed about the design, the architecture, and the concept of this two plot of land they put and then come into one. Right, so I'm sure consumer is going to experience the same as what the agent felt. Right, it's really a very different product, and architect really put in a lot of efforts to make this a very beautiful project, and it's very, very practical as well. Right, this is actually one of the view for the swimming pool on the north plot. This one is on the south. Right, this is a bridge from far end. Yeah. And you stand above, you're able to view the whole lake pool. This is called a lake pool because it's not regular. We have a 15-meter pool here, right? And on the sky terrace, you are able to see as far as like the CBD area, the Juchiat area, because they are all low-rise landed property, and you can see some of the unit might be able to see pocketed sea view. Those units that are facing the south and facing into the East Coast Park area, you might be able to get some sea view from the southern plot of land, right? So very nice. And beside the ground facilities, you are able to go up to the 17th floor to enjoy the indoor facilities. So there's something also developer do a good job, and they really give back to the buyers because they build a lot of indoor facilities. So indoor facilities meaning the developer have to pay development charge to government, right? So a lot of development, you see sometimes a lot of open pavilions. So those are free because the developer don't have to pay development charge. But for those built-in area, cover up with an enclosed area, those are all under GFA and DC payable, right? So this developer really, they do a good job. They never shortchange the buyer. They give a lot of GFA accountable space back to the buyers, right? So when you come down to the show flat, our agent will explain to you what do I mean by that and what kind of things that you are able to get. And what's so great about that, when developers are not giving you a lot of open space, what an advantage. So all these are benefits that you are able to transfer down to the next buyer in case if you're selling the house, right? Definitely the buyer will get to enjoy better. And if not, the tenant will be able to actually rent from you at a higher price because all the things are all like, for example, air conditioning, rooms, and so on, right? So those are the things that the resident are able to get when they buy into the continuum, right? This one of the Sky Clubhouse on the 17th floor that you are able to bring in your own chef. You can do a fine dining in this clubhouse, right? So this is only one of them. Yeah, but we got plenty of this kind of setup in the whole projects that you are able to enjoy. And this will be the grand entrance at the southern side, near to the head road. Yeah, you can see it's a very, very beautiful entrance, very, very spacious. It's not cramped at all. And of course, the other side, the northern side, also get a different characteristic in terms of the design. This one, you got a waterfall here. Just now, the one you have the roundabout with the water features in the center, right? So both sides have their own character. It's two different setup. And this is actually how thoughtful the architect and the developer actually they come together and make sure they give the best product to the consumers, right? And who is the developer? Hoi Hap and Sunway. Well, these are the two developers that join force to bid for this land, and they are coming out this great product to give to everybody, right? And Hoi Hap, their principle always is they have this principle in mind. They always design very functional yet cultivating design. On this Hoi Hap, they never cut corner. Their product don't come with an odd shape, that kind of things. They always give very regular and efficient layout, very functional, and they also give value to the buyer. For example, this kind of bridge they design, and these are all part of the thing they are able to enhance the value of the property. Because of this, the owner, they are able to sell the property next time to the next buyer with a better price, or if not, they are able to rent out higher. So that is actually this developer normally what they will be doing for the consumers, and their products are always of high quality, right? They give very branded provision and so on. Right, example, the tiles, we are giving you a 1.2 meter by 0.6 meter, large format tiles. So which development you go, right, will have this kind of 1.2 meter in length, the kind of very big piece of tiles, right? Because it's much more expensive. But the advantage is actually very obvious. If so large piece, you will not get a lot of those lines on the floor, right? The whole house will look so much better and clean, right? So that is actually what you are able to experience in this project, right? They are the top 10 developer having this under this award, BCI Asia, right? And this is actually the unit mix. So we have like 1 bedroom all the way up to 5 bedrooms. So I'm sure whatever bedroom type that you are looking at, you come to Continuum, you'll be able to find something that are suitable for, to meet your needs, right? So come down. And this project actually is not it's not a GLS project because this is freehold, right? It's under en bloc and they are not obliged to the rule of certain rules that, for example, PVPC, right? So this project allow you to change the layout. The wall are able to bring down. You can hack the wall, you can do the modification of the layout and so on. Right? So it can be very flexible. So in case if you need to do something, change something, or you don't like certain layout, not to worry. Most likely you are able to change it, right? So just come down and look at the show flat first. Okay? So this is what I mean. Every unit will come with a storeroom. So even a one bedroom will give you a storeroom, So in today's context, I'm very sure that none of the project actually give you storeroom in all type of layouts. Now in continuum, from one bedroom to five bedroom, you get storerooms. Some even got two storerooms. Right? And you can see the two bedroom. Now this is actually one of our layout in the show flat for 2 plus study. Right, it's in dumbbell. It's very efficient, 721 square feet. You get a study room here, so you're able to modify this study room, and you can even enlarge your bedroom too, or you can make the bedroom too bigger and become a master bedroom as well. Right, so there are plenty of flexibility in the continuum. This is only part of it. Right, this is our 3 bedroom. 1087, which I think is going to be very, very popular because it's very, very efficient. Right, you got house shelter, you also have a storeroom, and the bedroom size are pretty okay. Is able to fit in the queen size bed and so on. And you come here to experience the master bedroom size. I'm sure you will fall in love. Right, very nice. And 3 bed plus study. This is actually the one of the Hoi Hub signature layout, right, whereby you are able to go out from the kitchen and the living room to the big balcony here. So they are all interconnected. So this is one of the very popular layout by Hoi Hub. And normally the project, they will incorporate this layout, and this layout normally will sell out very fast, right? Because everybody loves this layout, and this will be located at the premium tower, whereby you come with a private lift as well, right? So you can come down to experience it, because we have a show flat for this particular layout with some modification on the wall as well. So come down and experience it yourself, right? And of course, we have the 5 bedroom penthouse featuring in the show flat. Very big 2260, having a ceiling of 4.62 in the living room. So it's a very tall ceiling. So when you enter into this show flat on the second floor in our show flat, and I tell you, I think you'll fall in love, because it's really very beautiful. It looks so grand. And look at the finishes, the provision, the appliances, the brand that the developer are giving. You'll find that you thought you are in the core central region. Right, it doesn't feel that you are in the RCR at all. Right, so this is something that I urge all of you have to come down, experience it on yourself. Right, and in case if you are not going for 5 bedroom, you can use a 5 bedroom to understand the 4 bedroom, because they are all most 100% identical, except that 5 bedroom will come with one more extra bedrooms. Right, so this is something you can experience, and try to book appointment with the agent that are inviting you here, because we are going to start our preview very, very soon. Right, these are the appliances: Bizu, Samsung, Frankel, and the bathroom will come with Lawson, Hesse, and JC from Italy. Right, bathtub for the bigger unit as well. And this will be the price that developer are giving. Look at the price. It's really very, very impressive. So for those people who are still staying here, I just want to make some comparison for all of you, so that you understand whether this 2.5 or 2.6, 3.2 or 1.6 something, are they attractive or not? How do I know that they are attractive? So I really did some research, and I'm going to help you to analyze. Right, so these are the things that I can share with all of you, because under the BUC, which is District 15 Katong area, these are the already done deal sales from 2.7, averagely from 2.7 to 2.428. 2.428 to 2.7, average price for freehold new launch, that was those units that was launched in 2019, right? And the maximum price has actually reached 3.293. From 2.9 to 3.293. And the 2.9 is actually done deal by a 99 years project. Right, lease at MB actually higher transacted record was 2.909. Right, so just now you see the continuum price actually like 2.5, 2.6 per square foot. You are able to get a unit, right? So this already done deal, and they serve as a support for you. If you are coming in now to buy, I'm sure you will still get the very first mover advantage, because there are actually a lot of people paying so much higher than you. Right? And Continuum has a lot of unique selling point that other projects don't have. Right? So that's actually one thing. And the other thing I want to share with all of you is, maybe not many people actually are aware of this, because Amber Park actually was launched in 2019, right? And today there are 3 units already they resell in the open market, and we call this sub sales, because the project is not TOP. So anything that are done deal after the new launch sales is considered sub sales, right? So you look at the sub sales, the done deal PSL for a 2-bedroom, having 2-bed plus study, having a 743 square feet is already hit 2801. So if you are going to compare with the continuum price, right? So this is how you can make the comparison, right? Because 2 plus study, 743, but ours is 721. But our layout is so much more efficient. So in fact, I think they will be enjoying about the same area, like usable area, right? But look at the price. In terms of quantum, 2.08, but in continuum, as low as 1.82, you are able to own a 2 plus study, and it's a brand new launch. So this is something that you really have to grab if you have a chance to get at 1.8 something, or anything that is below 2 million. Just grab it, because people are paying a sub sales unit for this price already, and it's already done deal, right? And your layout is actually so much efficient, because you have a storeroom, and your study room is actually in the center, compared to this one is actually at the entrance, the study room, and you have the wastage of this passageway here. But this one done deal at $2,800 per square foot now, right? And this, you still have a chance to buy it at 2.6 something, right? Go for it if you have a chance really. And if I'm going to do the comparison on the recent launched Tembusu Grand, which is the 99 years, then you will see how attractive is continuum price. For those people who are waiting for this project, right, congratulations, because I think you will have a good chance to get at a very good rate as compared to a 99 years project, right? Look at the quantum. On this quantum versus all the minimum sold and the maximum sold quantum, right? For example, 1.82, which is our 2 plus study, but 1.82 is actually cheaper than some of the 99 years project. I mean, 1.96, the highest they sold for the Tembusu units, 1.96. But you are able to use 1.82 to buy, or anything that is below 1.96 that you buy for a 2 plus study. In fact, you are getting it at the cheapest rate compared to the 99 years. And they are all both in the same location, about the same location, right? So this is actually how you make comparison. And because of this Tembusu unit sold price, they really are supporting our continuum price very well, right? So really, congratulations to all of you who are waiting for this project. I think you have made a good choice, right? Come down to experience the show flat, which is starting from the 21st of April, right? We are having our preview, and it's going to be very crowded, because we have seen and get a lot of numbers that for those people who have registered and booked a slots, we have seen a lot, right? So the show flat is going to be very, very cramped, especially on the weekend, right? So if you can try to book with your agent that invited you here, tell them which day, what time you are coming down, so that they are able to help you to book a viewing slots. And really, I really urge all of you to come down. Don't miss out this particular project, because the layout, the quality, everything is so nice. The price is also very, very attractive. And this is one of the biggest freehold launch in recent years, and it's going to be the biggest in Singapore, the 3rd largest in Singapore, right? So booking date, it will be on the 6th of May. Right, so you come down, if you can bring the checks down, and if you really like, you want to go for balloting, you can submit up the check immediately, right, to the agents. Also, with that, I finished my sharing. I hope you guys have a little bit idea on the continuum. Of course, I got no time to go through the whole projects selling unique points. So if there's any other things, you can always check with the agents. Right, if not, then I'm going to end my sharing. My name is Ji Ng. I'm the project chief SE for the continuum. Right, so yeah, hopefully all of you are able to get a unit and you get a very good number when come for the balloting. Right. So with this, thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best and see you very soon.